So McDonald's, I'm 100% sure, makes more money from Coke than it makes from a burger. Understand what you are selling, what is the consumer buying is different from what you are making money from. Often when we sell insurance, most smart people will tell you it's about death. Insurance is not about death. Insurance is about living. Whatever you've learned about a sales guy needs to be out there and an extrovert and अरे उसको टोपी पहनाना आना मांगता है. It's all rubbish. You don't need any of that.
Welcome to the first episode of GrowthX Inner Circle, a podcast where we sit down with top operators, leaders, and founders building the next phase of growth in India. In our first episode, we have Jaimit, an OG of India's business ecosystem. We are in 2023, and Jaimit has a 24-year experience in digital alone. Just when the digital revolution was starting to blow up in India, Jaimit is the CTO, CMO, and Chief Digital Officer of Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance. And Jaimit is a key force driving the digital transformation for them. In today's episode, we speak about what startups get right compared to enterprises, the power of research, and how India sells everything from chai to insurance, and how stories hold the power of changing narratives. In just 3 minutes, Jaimit has been with us in GrowthX since 2021. He's one of the most sought after mentors, or as I say, professor in our community. We finally got him down for a no holds barred, candid conversation with us. If you're a founder, a leader, or someone who aspires to have a long compounding career, this episode is for you. And as I know you do, don't forget to take notes.
This guy teaches, he's in sales, he's done marketing, he's now in digital transformation, we'll get to that sometime. He's an angel investor, he's an advisor, ये बाप भी रह चुका है, इतनी सारी टोपियाँ पहनता है, how many hats you're wearing all the time, and this is just the the professional space of life. Which is the most important hat, or like what's real for you right now? Which is the hat that you're always, you feel like, this is who I am, this is my self identity for now.
What's real? If I pick anyone, that would mean the rest are fake. No, I think the way I've often seen myself or described myself or felt or behaved, I think I've realized it when other people express to you. And in office, a lot of my bosses have called me professor. I think I end up preaching or talking or explaining a lot more. And with my team also, they come and say professor. So I've taught for so many years. I think for at least 20 years, I've been officially teaching in a college. And when I see a lot of my role is learning and teaching, learning and teaching, learning and teaching. So I think the role that is closest to me is that of a teacher. And I think that is something that I really love. Of course, a teacher also means that you have to learn because you can't teach without learning and you have to be always on top of it. But I think the role of a teacher works best, and the description that I'm a teacher works best with me.
How did that happen? How did that discovery happen? Like, this is who I am, and
I don't know. I guess if you go into some Freudian thing, कि बचपन में क्या हुआ था, that I don't know. But I think I realized that I loved some teachers in my life. Some teachers who were there in school. So you always had a mixed bag of teachers. I'm sure everybody had that irritating one teacher जो ऐसे कुछ भी हो एक one थप्पड़ मार देते थे. Like fun fact, I've been hit by a hockey stick also. I still love that. Yeah.
Oh shit.
I won't name that teacher, but ऐसा he took a hockey stick and he whacked 62 boys together, one by one. But then you've had some amazing teachers who've believed in you, teachers who've said, "Arey Jaimit, you're the good guy," and I'm like, okay, I used to be the naughty guy, and I'm the guy that people don't really. Teachers are like, "ये naughty है, बात बहुत करता है, ये है, वो है." But then there are certain teachers who say, okay, this one is good, and okay, that's a good idea. Okay, you're thinking well, and okay, you're challenging, and this is the right thing to do. In math, you're having a different way. And those teachers had a very big impression in my life. My principal, Father Adolf, and I really loved his lecture. In 9th standard, he started teaching us poetry. And we were like, ये कहाँ से आया है, प्रिंसिपल आ रहा है और पोइट्री का क्लास है, पोइट्री का अलग क्लास नहीं होता था. सो ही केम टू टीच अस एंड he explained poetry in a format that I had never ever understood before. There was a idea that he would bring, but we were free to completely have our own ideas and chat. And I remember having an argument on a certain uh, phrase, steal from the world and not a stone, tell me where I lie. That was this thing, and he had a different version of it. I had a different version of it. And I said, this is the version. And he said, I would agree to your version if for the fact that there is no comma in this place. If there is a comma in this place, then your version is right. And if there is a comma that is not there, then my version may be right. And I loved it. And he used to wear those robes and he used to carry eclair chocolates with him. And I remember sitting on the back bench, like I never sat on the first bench. And when I explained this, and he went into his pocket and he would take out a chocolate and he would throw. And that left a dramatic impression on me. And I loved that guy. His ability to inspire a love for poetry. Like English बार बार थी, SSC, bloody nonsense poetry था. कोई खास नहीं था. But explanation was what? Teacher would come, she would explain something, somebody would read out, and you would ask some stupid questions. He was the first person to come and understand and allow you to dream and get inspired.
Yeah.
That Father Adolf Furtado, I will never forget in my life. And the way he taught and the way he inspired and the way he allowed us to think, I'll never forget. And that I still carry. So when I go to class, I keep chocolates in my pocket, I keep chocolates in my bag. When people ask answer good questions and all of that, and you know, when they challenge, I throw chocolates. And it's beautiful. It's a great experience. And when you work with people, your mind opens, their mind opens up. I think that somewhere left a big impression on me, and I just strive to be like him a lot more, and I enjoy it.
What have you been teaching recently?
So I teach random things. I'm very clear. मेरे को curriculum मत दो. If you give me curriculum now, I just lose it. I like, भाई ये नहीं होगा मेरे से. A curriculum is so constricting. Then there is a board of studies. Like, you know, honestly, some of the curriculum is rubbish. They want to teach corporate communications, how to write emails and letters. I mean, क्या nonsense है यार? Come on यार. This is the last thing you need to teach. But there are these things that people want to teach. What I always tell is that allow me to teach whatever I want. Give me a broad topic. Sales का सिखाना है, मैं sales सिखा सकता हूँ. Marketing का सिखाना है, I will teach marketing. But within that, allow me anywhere, anyhow to teach. So, till recently, I was teaching at a fairly upscale college where I passed out, etc. Then this year, my wife and me were Jain. So this year, my wife and me were discussing with each other, and we were just saying that I was telling her कि बहुत हो गया rich people को पढ़ाना. These kids have everything in life.
Yeah.
So this year, I did something, according to me, very, very, very difficult and transformative for me. My neighbor is a principal at a college in Chembur, which is fairly low economic strata. I went in to teach and I told her, okay, I like to teach. She said, are you sure you will come? Because the kids are a little unruly, the lower strata of society. So communication is a challenge. These kids have, so I'll tell you what happened. So you go into class and the teachers before only are apologetic a little bit कि हमारा थोड़ा बच्चा लोग just understand and this and that. I was telling them, don't worry, I can handle the kids. You enter, it's not an AC classroom. Fan चल रहा है, हवा चल रहा है. There is noise from the road coming in. There is a chalk. There is no whiteboard. Not what you're used to teaching. And you come in, and these kids are wondering ki who's come. And in 3 seconds, I realized कि I can't give an English lecture. if I'm going to speak in English, I'm going to lose this.
They're going to bully you.
No, they just won't get it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get money. I'm going to trying to see can I make some impact in somebody's life. So I had told the principal had a one-line statement. A lot of these kids want to become data operators and ops jobs. And the principal is saying that I really care about them. And she's a sweetheart. Like Dr. Vidya Lele, she's like the most amazing person. And she really cares for this class and her college. She's telling that I want them to dream more. I said they should do sales job. If they get money. She said these kids don't want to get into sales. The various different things, they believe that sales mein communication skills chahiye, English, you have to speak pat and all of that. I said, allow me, I'll chat with them because reality is that that's not the truth. And we will understand basics about business, about understanding and all of that. Let's see if that works. Full lecture I did in Bombay Hindi. So एक तो number one, I don't know proper Hindi, I know Bombay Hindi. अपन बोलेला करेला उधर से अपन लेके आया तो इसका भाव क्या हो रहा है, that kind of stuff. And the class vibed with it, and they were also wondering कि ये कौन सा professor आ रहा है, क्या बोल रहा है ये. And I started explaining and I was like thinking चेंबूर से example लेने का है. So my favorite example is McDonald's. Like I often argue McDonald's, like everybody believes McDonald's business is burgers. You would say, I would say, but you just have to sit in a McD shop to realize that's not true. McDonald's is the greatest Coke selling machine in the world. You go to a McD, burger कितने का आता है? 30-40 रुपया, 50 रुपया, whatever. You take the cheapest burger, कुछ 30-40 रुपया, 30-40 rupees. What is the price of Coke in McD?
Never noticed.
Never noticed, no?
Never noticed.
So they will always say a burger, have a Coke and you'll get 7 rupees off, 6 rupees off. The price of a Coke is 55-65 rupees when I last checked.
Okay.
Now, just do a basic math. What is cost of a Coke? It is water with some sugar.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
And the square foot that it takes is ridiculously less.
Yeah.
There is not even an additional person serving. The guy who takes the order puts the Coke and gives it to you.
Yeah.
Half of it is ice to start with.
Let's not go there.
Correct. So you are in this zone, right? 55-65 rupees का तो Coke है. Correct? और more. Burger 30-40 रुपए का है. Burger में bread है, bun है, fry होगा, ketchup है. कोई somebody is there who's assembling it. There is a paper wrap. It's coming to you. The maths on a gross margin on a Coke and a maths on a gross margin on a burger, and every burger is always sold with a Coke. How many mad psychopaths like me have you met in McDonald's that will say burger no Coke?
Yeah.
I mean, I often argue, and I hope I'm not going to get sued on this one, is that the reason there is more salt is because they want you to bloody.
Yes.
But okay, that's a questionable one. So disclaimer, that one didn't exist. But the whole point is, it is a Coke selling machine.
Yeah. I never looked at it that way.
So McDonald's, I am 100% sure, makes more money from Coke than it makes from a burger. And this is my favorite example when I go to class and I explain to them that understand what you are selling and what is the consumer buying is different from what you are making money from. These are two different concepts. People assume they're one and the same.
Yes.
And when I explain this, light bulbs go up. I go to this class and I'm trying to explain to them. Suddenly I realize I ask a simple question. How many have been to a McDonald's? Not more than
Very
10%. Hands went up. And I'm like, bhai, I have to change track. I have lost the class. It's a great example. But I bloody lost the class.
Yes.
So what do you do? And then suddenly I'm like, okay, this is in Chembur, Bombay, this is Chembur area. Chembur is this, like most Bombay, is this weird place of high street and a beautiful, expensive apartments and cheek by jowl, not so expensive and, middle class Bombay. And I'm like, okay, here is my next favorite example. Yevle chai. Yevle chai. Have you been to Yevle chai? Arey yaar,
what is
this is a life half lived. What is the cost of cutting chai?
5 rupees?
7 rupees.
7 rupees.
7 rupees. There is this thing, 7 rupees.
Standardized.
Entire Bombay has a unwritten rule of like, coconuts. All coconuts in Bombay are 60 rupees and everybody together. Everybody will raise it to 65 together. It's a union. So even chai is a union. It's an unsaid union. Like ganna juice, it's an unsaid union. It's the same price everywhere. 7 rupees is the cost of a chai. Yevle chai sells the same chai at 12 rupees, 12 rupees.
Okay.
Does he give you anything more? No. Yevle chai is a store where you cannot enter. You cannot sit and have chai. He is outside. The traditional store, he has a proper shop, but the serving unit is still the street, and he gives it to you. Outside there are tables or not, but he uses street space, and he gives you that chai, cutting chai, and it sells for 12 rupees. 12 minus 7, 5 on 7. I don't know, you do the maths. 60-70% premium hua hai.
Premium. Yeah. On what? On what?
On chai.
No, but on what is the experience?
Correct.
What's the data?
There is no difference except the fact that you're taking from Yevle, a brand.
Okay.
Now, how many such low physical experience products have you seen with a 60% markup?
Not that I can actually think of. Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
He's the apple of chai. And Yevle chai is there in every station. Outside every station, that's his standard model.
Okay, so there's a bunch of them in Bangalore.
Yevle chai is a chain.
Bombay.
Is a chain
Okay.
in Bombay. And 60% markup hai. And I'm like, okay, let me explain this to the class. Ki understand what is price premium. And then we started explaining chai. And then I was explaining to them that understand one thing. Chai ka 7 rupees hai. I'm assuming the gross margin on a chai is 3.5 rupees. Okay, gross margin.
Yeah.
3.5 ka doodh and everything, and 3.5 ka gross margin. You pay hafta, this, that, etc. This is a different story. I was explaining to the class that understand that every 1 rupee extra that you add dramatically improves gross margin as a percentage. The fact that this guy at 3.5 rupees plus 5 rupees, 8.5 rupees, 8.5 rupees on 3.5, it's crazy mathematics. And I'm not even including that he buys milk at bulk. I'm not even saying he buys tea at bulk. I'm not even saying, but samne he has rent.
Yeah.
But not even taking all of that into play. If one guy with a gross margin business can look at of a basic chai, is able to do it. I keep asking these questions. Understand where and how people are paying premium. When we look at premium, we look at Nike shoes, we look at Zara, we look at this big shop, we look at Starbucks. There are amazing pockets of premium around here. When I explained this to the class, and the class is looking at it like, aha movement ho raha hai.
Oh, yeah.
And you look at the class, and when I entered the class, the standard cat calls were happening. And suddenly, this is naughty bunch of gang, this is doing these funny things. From that naughty bunch, people are answering. Sir, sorry, isme paisa hai. Sir, udhar paisa hai.
Yes.
I go back to the principal and say, I think I caught the class. And the class I managed. Oh man, it was the toughest thing in my life, man.
Yeah.
3 मिनट में घुमाना और समझाना और उसको पकड़ना. Crazy beautiful, man. That's what I'm teaching these days. Now, is this sales? Is this marketing? Is this business? Is it price premium?
Yeah.
Is it service quality? Is it, I don't know, job to be done? God knows. खुद तो सिखा रहा हूँ मैं.
Changing the way they look at themselves It's changing the way they
बल्ब
look at the
खुलना
world.
चाहिए,
Yeah.
बल्ब खुलना चाहिए. धंधा कैसे होता है? बल्ब खुलना चाहिए.
Yeah.
Your mind should be able to understand what is the person buying and what are you fundamentally selling. These are two different things. Yevle is not selling chai. Chai तो किधर भी मिलता है. My hypothesis is that people really appreciate that chai. And they want to believe that in their life, that is that one thing. See, at a certain income level, you can't choose your food. You're eating subsistence food, you're eating the basic things. But there is that small joy that I want chai, which is important to me.
Yevle.
Twice a day, I want to have good quality chai. And for that, I'm paying 12 रुपया ना, 7 रुपये का 12 रुपया. He is selling that little bit extra. And it looks like people are buying chai. But he is selling that little extra quality saying Yevle chai. In fact, he calls it Yevle Amrutalay.
Okay.
You know, chai wala. Amrutalay. Chai का 7 रुपया है. Cappuccino का 350.
Very interesting point here, Jaimit. Like, and what do you see? Like, Bombay में जो business हो रहा है, the kind of background you come from, right? And I know we discussed this sometimes, right? You diss on the whole Bangalore कि यार ये लोग समझ नहीं रहे धंधा ऐसे होता है, right? Like, and I sometimes don't understand what's happening. So how do you look at the Bangalore ecosystem? What do you think founders and startups are doing now? And you've been an advisor.
You're going to get me into trouble.
That's exactly why you.
That's the whole point of this conversation.
तू आया किस लिए?
AC गरम करवाए. AC था.
AC on करता actually, yes.
Yeah. So according to me, and I have a very controversial opinion on this one. Businesses, traditionally Bombay was the hub.
Yeah.
Okay. Financial capital, Delhi was Bombay, etc. And businesses did well within the range. And suddenly you had this Bangalore startup ecosystem coming and saying, the product is way too complicated. The way you are delivering a product is painful, it's broken. There is a way to do product, there is a way to do tech, there is a way to go closer to consumer and all that, and give him an easier, better, great experience, solve for basic problems and try and get there. I think Bombay, and I call it the Bombay model and the Bangalore model in many ways. Bombay really needs to look at the Bangalore model and learn shit from there. Bangalore solved the way it delivers. But I wish Bangalore understands certain things of Bombay. For one, in their quest to be product-led, I think it loses insight and affinity. Most of the times I ask a basic question, कि all your advertising cannot be about a better mousetrap. Now, a lot of legacy companies, Bombay seem to have got it. And within Bangalore also there is enough competition. You see the advertising, they will always come up with an ad that is either trying to say it in a funny way or in a different way, but it is always about why this product is better. What is so different about this product? It doesn't really try and build an affinity. And I think this is one of the most important things that Bangalore seems to be missing in their products, in their advertising, and in their way. That heart somewhere, maybe it's and again I'm going to get trolled for this, it's the engineering mindset which is more mathematical as opposed to the more art mindset that works. It's a more cut mindset that tries to build a product and try and sell it, whereas the art tries to, what is the real love for this product? I think that love and that affinity seems to be missing and that insight seems to be missing, but this engineering thing takes over, and that's where I always have this problem. You're getting just way too product. थोड़ा सा दिल डालना.
क्या ये heart? So I understand. See, like this is the way I look at it. A lot of folks in Bombay and they look at business from a very traditional point of view that, hey, you know what, यहाँ पे धंधा है, market है and all. And a lot of startup founders are looking at it from a technology angle. They're looking at it at how I can scale this, how I can actually automate this, how I can not have it people-led.
I agree. No, they're awesome. Like Bangalore is, like we in Bombay need to learn from the Bangalore model and really improve our operation processes. But that doesn't mean that Bangalore can't learn from Bombay. I think the things that Bombay knows how to do well. I think a lot of startups I've seen struggle on sales systems and processes. If your model, everything is non-sales led, fair. I mean, I think Bangalore's really startup guys get it. Moment it hits a phygital sales process, then I think a lot of models tend to get shaky because they don't really understand how that system works. But I'm more talking about, let's say, advertising or consumer reach or consumer impact and all that. I think the ability to say, hey, we miss you, here is a 20% off coupon, oh, why don't you take this free? I think a lot of startups just keep going back to that, and I get very irritated. What is wrong in your product in heart that people don't want to use it, that you have to give a 20% off? I mean, I'm probably a Guju in me hates doing that 10% off, 20% off. The product ऐसा होना चाहिए and relationship ऐसी होनी चाहिए. Your ability to connect with the consumer should be good enough for him to be ready to pay a premium to come to you. Like a Yevle chai pays you pay a premium to go to you. What is it that they are able to learn from them? I don't think, like one of the famous ones was Manyavar, no? They never discount their products or something like that. Like, I read somewhere, Manyavar founders were saying, we rather give clothes to charity and destroy them than ever put a sale. Maybe they don't have a graph that needs to look good.
Yeah, true that. No hockey sticks there.
I don't need a hockey stick. So I should not have a managed graph.
Yeah.
I think Aditya, you're going to get me into a lot of trouble. Yeah, sure.
That's why you're here. Talk to me about this sales process. Right? You've been in sales for a long time. Let's actually look at that. How do you look at sales? How do you look at, and I think that's something that you do, I mean, definitely influence right now as well at Aditya Birla. Before that at Kotak, before that, talk to me about that. Like, I've done sales. Like I personally, if I look at myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm a sales wala. And I still like transitioning or have transitioned in growth, but I still, that is who I really am. That's the skin I really wear. And I've seen you talk about sales. How do you look at it? And how do you also, what is it about it that people get wrong?
Interesting. Have you seen the movie Rocket Singh Salesman of the Year?
Yes. Is the one with the jacket ulta pehna hota hai?
So that wo bike pe. When I saw that movie, I kept nudging my wife. This happened to me, this happened to me. And it surprisingly, according to me, got a lot of that sales right. I mean, whoever is the story writer or the screenplay or whatever, they got a lot of that right. I've always believed that sales is honestly very simple. The ability to be diligent, to really talk to a consumer, to really feel for the other guy. So when I teach sales, I say that sales is 2 E's. So empathy and enthusiasm. Well, what is this? So when I teach the kids, I teach them that whatever you've learned about a sales guy needs to be out there and an extrovert and अरे उसको टोपी पहनाना आना मांगता है. It's all rubbish. You don't need any of that. First is you need empathy. What is your consumer feeling? उसका दर्द क्या है? उसको क्या चाहिए लाइफ में? Why is he using your product? Is he using your product to improve what of his business? If you're selling him a toothpaste that he's going to sell samne, what is the core problem? So many times I have learned, like when my first job was in rural sales. And very clearly, there's a trick question. In a store, I learned this very, very early, because I was in rural Gujarat, and it is damn funny. Gujus are like the world's best businessman, man. I'm being highly racist. I don't know what over here. I'm a Guju, so I can say it.
I think Sindhis
are also the second best. Sindhis, so very funny. In a lot of cities, in a lot of villages, etc., a lot of retail shops will be Guju owned. A lot of wholesale trade seems to be Sindhi owned. And they understand Sindhis also, and Gujus also understand margin. So the first things I learned, in Guju, everybody thinks that you have to give higher margin on your item. तो 100 रुपये का है, तुम 30 में दो तो तुम्हारा लेके जाएगा, तुम 70 में दोगे तो retailers won't pick it up, and everybody thinks that retailers want that. In Guju they used to tell me, ये सब ठीक है, तुम्हारो माल खपना मांगता है. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
तेरा माल बिकना चाहिए. तेरा margin is not relevant. So, but margin is what he wants. It is fundamentally stock turnover ratio. What is he has scarcity of? He has scarcity of space. There are too many products coming in. 2, he's always scarcity of capital. तू 100 रुपया लिया, 100 रुपया का माल, if you have invested 100 rupees in taking stock and your entire year sale is 200 rupees, that means your stock turnover ratio is twice. But if you have put only 20 rupees of stock and 200 rupees of sale, that means the stock turnover is 10 times. The ability for lesser capital, lesser space and generate more money is important. Capital has cost and space has cost. So your ability to stock more things happens. Stock turnover ratio is the most important element. The ability to give less stock but service it more often is very, very critical to a business. So when we were in sales, we understood that you should have basic empathy. See, what is his problem? If you don't have that empathy and you say, "Arey sir, I wish to sell bubble toothpaste," and like, "Arey 12 पे 2 free, ऊपर से ये scheme, ऊपर से वो scheme," that is no empathy. Instead you say, "Sir, कोई problem नहीं. Here is the stock, and I will come back later. You take less, but I will keep replenishing it more often because you are important on my route. And instead of a 2-week window, I am ready to service you, and I'm going to plan my route in a 1-week window." What does the guy say? "Oh, I need to take only 1 week of stock." In rural India, we used to sell on a cash and carry basis. So he has to pay, and you are able to take only 1 week window, but you are able to service him more often. And you tell him, "Sir, आपका order ज़्यादा होगा, मुझे बता दीजिए. I will come back again." And if you have this empathy for what his real problem is, you can sell him. My favorite example is the OTG, oven toaster grill. Correct? Now customer comes in and says, "मुझे oven चाहिए." What is the first thing to say? "हाँ, ये लो oven. This is the oven. Explain what the damn oven is." Oven है, ये है, वो है. By the way, आपको toaster और griller free मिलता है. Some next person comes and says, "I want a toaster." Sell that damn toaster allowed है. ये toast कर सकता है, ये bread है, toaster. By the way, oven and griller free मिलता है.
Yes.
Now you can't. Yeah, you have to first say yes, no. You have to have empathy. कि उसका life में problem क्या है? Like when you're selling to somebody in a spacious house versus selling in a small house. Like Bombay में houses are small. How you sell with you practically sell an OTG with a, "Sir, per square foot it is better for you," you know. So that whole concept has to be different. You have to have basic empathy. If you don't have empathy for the other person, you can't do sales for jack. And that's all I say. Pehla E hai empathy. Understand your consumer. What does he really want? And if it doesn't fit, say thank you and say, "Sir, let it be. Madam, you can go somewhere else and I'll help you. Why are you buying my? Not required." And that's where you build trust. That's where you build value. You just chipkawing is the whole concept of a sales guy should be chipkawing doesn't work. B2B sales. You've done B2B sales. If you understand that person really wants to take a MarTech product to either build engagement and talk about engagement, either build sales, talk about sales, either build premium, talk about premium. What is it that the bugger wants to do?
Yeah.
तेरे पास वो empathy नहीं है, तो sales में भाई तू sales मत कर. You have to have the first E. Second E, enthusiasm. Love what you are selling. Don't be bored. genuinely appreciate that the product you're doing adds value to the person's life. If the OTG helps that family eat better breakfast, keep that higher value in your head. What it is that you really can add value and why is your product good? You should know. And how does your product help? You should know. If you don't know this, enthusiasm नहीं है, तो नहीं बेच सकता है. Sales is transfer of enthusiasm. I love this damn product. And this is the reason I love it. And if I have empathy for why your problem is and why I love this, maybe there is a sale happening. If empathy and enthusiasm is not there, sale नहीं होने वाला है. और repeat तो भूल से भी नहीं होने वाला है.
I love how you say this, that there's a guarantee कि sale नहीं होने वाला, but if we have both these things, maybe sale. Right? So there's and this is what sales is about, right? There's a guarantee of failure. You don't show up, nothing will happen. But if you show up, you just improve your probability, and then that's where the game is, right? And that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of it.
Looking at each person, it's no different from teaching. Why do I teach? Some person's life has improved. Why would you sell? Some person's life is better. They feel good with that perfume. They feel good driving that car. They feel good wearing that t-shirt. That's it. If you understand that, that is sales. And greatest salespeople get repeat business.
Yes.
Nobody can build business from selling only once to a person's life. It's not going to work. People are going to get irritated. They're going to feel cognitive bias. ये सब dissonance आएगा, ये आएगा, वो आएगा. He will not tell 20 people about it. Let's assume high value item. He's never going to buy the second time. But you want him to tell 20 people कि लेना है तो you should take from Adhar only, no? That's what people do. Empathy and enthusiasm. हो गया. And how difficult is that? Rocket Singh explains that. It beautifully explains that. What did he do? Empathy की उसके problem क्या है? Correct है. Enthusiasm, I'm selling you a good computer. And good service. It really happens. You don't need extra. It irritates the shit out of me.
You know what, Jaimit? Talk to me about the research, right? There's a great point you touched upon, but we didn't really double click on it. I want to do that. You said, yeah, customer ko samjho, understand that. A lot of people say that, right? No.
Yes, they do.
They do. But you know what?
do.
And everybody says that. It's very, very pop culture sort of thing. Oh, you should know your customer. How? Let's actually, just put everything aside and just talk about that. Like, how do you do it? Where do you start? How do you generate those insights, right? You know, somebody's listening to this, they're like, okay, you know what, Jaimit, I'm in. I'm sold. What do I do next? And how do I generate those insights? Where do I get that empathy from? That, like, okay, these are the three things.
Ready for a little longish lecture?
इसलिए बैठा हूँ मैं.
So I teach research in a few classes which I do. And so I'll tell you, a lot of people think research is taking a clipboard with questions and going to people. And they say, rate on a 1 to 5 scale. Rate on a 2 to, whatever 5-point Likert scale hoga. How much, like NPS. Bangalore's obsession with NPS, no? Like all these companies' obsession with NPS. I'm like, bhai, means I just did one simple transaction. Basis this transaction on a rating of 1 to 10, 0 to 10. How would you recommend? Cool, bro, cool down.
I'll do that after this. Like, how was your feedback on this podcast?
This is this pen that you have written for 2 minutes. How likely are you to recommend this to your friends and family to buy? And it's like this great. You go to a Honda service center. It's like amazing, sir. On a scale of 1 to 10, 9 and 10 being very good and 8 being bad. And I'm like, I say I like your service, but it is a 8. Sir, what did go wrong? Nothing. 8 is good. No, what went wrong? Because 9 and 10 are promoters, 8, 9, 10 is a mid, 7 to 9 detractor. Then we do A minus B, and then, sir, my bonus will go, everything will go. Sir, you tell me, I will do puja to you. I'm like, relax. इससे कुछ नहीं तुमको मिलने वाला है. कोई प्रोडक्ट नहीं इंप्रूव होने वाला है.
क्यों?
So number one rule now of basic research is qual before quant. Okay, first, let me ask you a simple question. I always think in cricket metaphors. तो cricket थोड़ा बहुत आता है तेरे को, चल ठीक है. Do you know Steve Wog?
हाँ.
सचिन तेंदुलकर?
उतना आता है. उतना ही आता है.
अच्छा. So I don't know if I ask you this nuanced question. On batting skills, how would you rate? Okay, yes. How would you rate Steve Wog on 1 to 10 on batting skills?
Very difficult to answer. Like,
अच्छा चल, we'll make it easy for you. Virat Kohli versus Sachin Tendulkar. Okay. Virat Kohli on 1 to 10 on batting skills.
हाँ. So it depends on the match. Like if it's a test match.
ना 1 to 10.
अच्छा.
मैंने तेरे को quant किया है ना. 1 to 10.
Oh God. I think Sachin.
Nah,
So 1 to 10. Virat
gets how many points?
8.
Yeah. How much does Sachin get?
Like a 9.5.
Correct. ठीक है. Can you make out any difference in this?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
But what were you trying to answer? Maybe if it is a one-day innings and we are batting second and it is a difficult one, I will maybe go with Virat to bet on it.
Yes.
And if it is opening the innings and we want a great start, I will go with Sachin Tendulkar.
Spot on. Yes,
correct?
Exactly.
This is the kind of thing. And I have 300 to 50 to chase. Maybe Virat doesn't get unfazed by this, but I want to set a total that is daunting. I will put Tendulkar up front. Correct?
Yes.
Like Steve Wog was famous because if there is a second innings test match and you want to have 150 runs to save a test match, I may not bet on Tendulkar to save my life, but I may bet on a Steve Wog. This is qual. And how do you get this?
Open-ended questions.
By number one, not asking questions.
Okay.
The stupidest thing people do is ask questions in qual. Why are you asking questions? Have conversations. When you go home and when you chat with your dad, you learn a lot. Do you ask him questions? You sit and have conversations. Dad, this is awesome, yeah. Is that a question? It's an opener.
Yeah.
Dad, आज मैच क्या था यार? Correct?
Yeah.
It's not a question.
It's an opener.
It's an opener. And then Dad says, yeah, man, the match was superb. But you know, this part, the way he hit it and this and that. Then you get an insight. What did he like about that match? What is so interesting about it?
Yeah.
Qual is an art of having a 45-minute, 1-hour conversation with someone about life. If you are able to have a 45-minute conversation, 1-hour conversation, anything less than 45 minutes, please reject that interview. It's not going to happen. Reject it. 1 घंटा होना चाहिए. At the end of it, the person on the other side should love you. They should say, Adhar is a great guy. Everybody likes to be heard. You are genuinely hearing him. In that 45 minutes to an hour, you should be speaking for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. All you are put together and he should be speaking. Your ability to just nudge the direction. So, in finance, like if I come and tell you, I want to understand fin and I want to understand your spending and your saving habits, and I say, Adhar, what do you want to achieve in life? And what is your goal? What is your financial goal? And you look at me and like, और आंसर क्वेश्चन दिया है, आंसर तो देना पड़ेगा. You will give me an intelligent sounding answer. I want to be independent. I want to have a car. I want to have a house. And I want to ensure that I retire at 40 and blah, blah, blah. You'll give such rubbish answers. Everybody gives answers. And that's why, all the fintechs will have these apps on putting goal planning. In India में कौन सा goal planning चलता है? Goal planning life में नहीं चला है. But goal planning आएगा because you asked idiotic questions. Suppose I come in and say, hey Adhar, करते क्या हो लाइफ में? आपने स्टडीज क्या किया है? आपका एजुकेशन बैकग्राउंड क्या है? Just like a inverted. Where do you live? What do you do? What is your education? How do you look at money? There is a spending aspect of money which is bigger than the saving aspect. People talk about save, 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 save. Yeah, saving, saving, saving. People want money to spend. Understand spending if you want to understand saving. Saving is a residual for most people. So, what does it money is? Why does money play a role in your life? Because let's say you have 2 kids and money becomes important as a means to life or a means to a style or a means to a better future or a means to safety or a means to grow. What is money? Every person is different. Your audience is different. Money means different things. When you understand and you ask money first and you understand the gamut of it, then from there you can talk about, okay, how, if he talks about growth, then you talk about the growth. Then you talk about the various options he's thinking. Then you go into what is it that your specific product means, category. Then in that category you may talk brand. In that talk you may talk the product in that brand, and then you talk that inversion. It's an inverted pyramid. तुम ब्रॉड से स्टार्ट करो, नैरो 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 करके आओ, फिर तुमको इंसाइट मिलेगा कि क्या है. You will understand that insight of what money means. And let's say you're talking stockbroking, you're talking mutual fund investments, you're talking insurance. What is that insurance doing in that person's life? If you didn't understand what he did in life, what is his life stage, what does he work, what does he eat, what does he drink, where does he work, how does he go to work, how does he talk to friends? Like in stockbroking, I spent donkeys years in stockbroking, and everybody told me people come to stockbroking to make money. And I asked, when I did research after research after research, qual research, and I asked people, like, if you ask like a dumb shit, why you are in the broking business, why do you stockbroking? To make money. Who will say I'm here to lose money? 95% lose money. But who will say that? Everybody wants to make money. Fair. But when you actually ask them, so you're here to make money, and you ask them a simple question, what percentage returns have you made over the last 10 years? Typically his answer will be, I don't know. Fair. Difficult question? Don't know. Okay. Next one is, have you net made a profit or a loss in the last 10 years? Most people will not even know the answer to that basic question. They will give you a vague answer. Then my favorite question I used to ask, sir, ye sab chodo. If you had put that money in a mutual fund and not done yourself, where would you have made more money? And the answer was mutual fund.
Mutual fund.
So then if you have the theory that people come to the stock market to make money, that hypothesis is fundamentally wrong. But if you still ask the question, you will get that answer. So stupid kaun hai? You na, for asking that stupid question. But if you've understood where he comes from, you understand what he is doing, then we realized that he feels left out, he feels other people are in the stock market. The role of the peer network. Zerodha does no advertising. It's peers talking to each other that this is what I do. It's very important. And they do it. The thrill of my money in my control became such a powerful motivator for stockbroking customers, as opposed to I make you more money. It is, you just have to understand where it is that your consumers are. And that comes from not asking questions. It comes from having nice, long conversations. 1 ghanta minimum बैठो. He will show you his ledger, he will show you his laptop, he'll show you his work. If you are in clothing, he will open the wardrobe. She will show you how her daily life is. She will open her purse and show you what she does. Then you've understood कि तेरा दिल का connection हुआ है. And then no, you go back and you've done even 15. You don't need to do 50. repeat होता ही रहता, patterns just repeat after 15, 20. They just good. If you taken even 6, 7, you will get it. 15 कर, 50 तो irrelevant है. 15 से 20 कर. Have these lovely conversations. Ensure that you will see patterns. Take that one person. You will always get one person who beautifully summarizes everybody's problems. And take that person and put it in your head and build your product, your advertising, everything for that person's real problems and real dard. You will get insight, you will get product ideas, you will get everything. उसका दर्द समझो, हो गया. Qual is the basis. What does quant do? Quant measures qual. And quant is important if 65 versus 70 is important to you. 65 versus 70 in a graph. So if I tell you ये graph है and there is a point on the graph. The point on the graph has no meaning. What does this tell you? And you look at it and like,
There's no context. Yeah.
there's nothing. But moment I put another dot here, now this graph told you something. Then I put another dot here. This graph is telling you something. Quant is important because over a period of time, it is able to tell you whether you are moving. But what question to ask? Without doing qual, you will ask a question that have you made money? And you will think that whether you're doing good or bad. But if you really understand that it is about the thrill of investing and you say, are you enjoying the experience? And you rate that and that you monitor over a period of time. Maybe you'll get a better insight. That's all. आराम से बैठो किसी के साथ, 1 घंटा आराम से conversation करो. Hopefully he is not sitting in front of you. She is not sitting. I always like the Indian, you go to most places in India, they will have a L-shaped
90
format.
degree, yeah.
And I always like to sit in an L-shaped format because it's not adversarial or you're not challenging. You're sitting together, they're sitting there, you're sitting here, and both of you are sometimes looking out and you're talking and you're able to challenge. Sir, ऐसा होता है? Madam, ऐसा? ऐसा? हाँ? Oh, that's all you need to do. And we will just keep talking. अरे you catch some person on the road and you tell him, भाई तेरे दर्द बता यार लाइफ में क्या चल रहा है. 1 घंटा चला जाएगा तेरे लाइफ में, बराबर कि नहीं? You will get insights more than you go with a questionnaire. So how hot are you feeling today?
Yeah, the AC is getting on. Yeah, we're getting.
I hope that gave you a nice answer to
Yeah.
a call answer to a research.
So let's talk about insurance, right? You brought it up. So I think let's actually dig deeper. How do you look at, because that's something you're doing right now. What are your insights on
Insurance? Yeah.
Like India कैसे देखता है? Like क्या
So
हो क्या रहा है वहाँ
it's
पे?
also funny. Every influencer, everybody will tell you buy term plan. Every other plan is useless. Everything is useless. And I look at it like, okay, intelligent आदमी हो आप. You must be extremely intelligent. I try and understand. And then I realize 95 to 98% of insurance in the country is not term. It is some other product. See, I also appreciate that earlier, insurance products used to be value destructive many years ago. Right now, it's cleaned up a lot. They're not value destructive products. There are lots of products that give you guaranteed income, etc. But, if influencers and mathematicians with an Excel sheet try and tell you where your ability to make money is better and all that, they forget simple things that what is it that the consumer really, really needs. Terms plan is good. I'm not saying it's bad. They're good and it's relevant for a lot of people. But if you go to a 95% of India and you say, here is some money that you pay, and if you die, your kin gets money back. So when I'm alive, I don't get any money. No. Okay, I don't want this product. Now, It may be great for him. It's important for him. He doesn't want this product. And he's going to walk away not buying any insurance because you want to give something that you think is right for him versus what he believes is right for him. Now I'm having coffee. Caffeine hai isme. Caffeine will give you an unnecessary high. You should go about in life without caffeine. Why do you want extra stimulants? It's a bloody drug. I'm having my coffee. It gives me joy, no? And there's a reason why I'm having this coffee. When you look at them and you say, okay, what is your horizon? What is it that you really want? And you can use insurance to guarantee different parts of it. Like, I want to ensure that I'm saving certain money so that my kids get this money. I want to save this money so that 15 years I get my money back. And I want guaranteed returns. I want a 6% guaranteed return, and government gives you up to a certain income bracket tax free, and it allows you to get that. And most of us fall within that range. And you're getting some amount of tax benefits, guaranteed product. There is a value to that. And in that 15 years, if anything happens, you get 10 times the amount of money that you are paying. You're typically, with all the disclaimers I'm putting in, so I don't want to get killed by IDA over here, but you will get a certain sum of money if anything happens. They can be good products somewhere with little better product, with a little less this thing, you'll always get something else. But the question is, if you are going to sell only term and he's not going to buy or she's not going to buy, and if anything happens to that person, are you going to face that family? Simple question. Now you can keep selling one thing. Often when we sell insurance, most smart people will tell you it's about death. Insurance is not about death. Insurance is about living. Money is not about saving, it is about spending. It gives you joy. Insurance gives you that peace of mind that I have done something for my family and some guarantee that I get into my future. It is about positive emotion. तू मर जाएगा इसलिए इंश्योरेंस ले. Most people will say, तू जा. I don't want to talk to Yamraj every day in my life. I don't want to pick up a call that is Yamraj, who reminds me I'm going to die. Most people live with the notion that they are not going to die.
This is almost turning philosophical, but that's a very beautiful, right? Like, we don't want to be with it. We don't want to look at the world like that.
But you shouldn't know. If you're going to think that you're going to die, why would you live? You're living because you enjoy your living moment. And in insurance, I'm very clear. My job is to ensure that you enjoy your living moment. Knowing that in the small probability that something happens, there is some cover for your family. And who else is going to give you a 15-year guarantee? This product is giving you a 15-year guarantee option. FD भी 5-10 साल का देता है गारंटी, ये 15 साल का गारंटी दे रहा है, 20 साल का गारंटी दे रहा है, उसका कुछ वैल्यू है. And that gives me joy, and it makes me clear that I am happy for this. Now somebody will argue you could have made so much more money in equity, but when the volatility goes up and down and he cancels his SIP, I've seen enough people cancel SIPs. I've seen enough people suddenly change their bank accounts. SIP starts debiting from an account where there is no money. I've seen enough of that happening. When in 2008, when markets crashed, you should be having the discipline of SIP. So many people stopped SIPs. But nobody stopped their insurance. Because there is an insurable value over there in their head. There is that value. Are you going to face the family? Are you going to face this guy later on? So understand, what is he buying? If he's buying a financial product and he understands and he is so smart, he will choose. Then you're not selling. Then don't sell anything. Walk away, show the facts and let him choose. But if you're going to sell, what is he looking for? And understanding that and selling it to him in an honest manner. There is nothing wrong. So great products.
So fear-based marketing, right?
I hate
Like,
that.
you know, you go to an automobile dealer, buy a new car, and they will scare you. Yeah, ये coating लगा लो, ये कर दो, वो कर दो. You know, all vehicle
Such an
manufacturers.
irritating experience, no?
Yeah.
एक तो you have gone out of budget, you bought the car, then you always bought the car little higher because you want this little extra feature. The idiotic sunroof which nobody uses is given because you wanted automatic windows. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
And उसके ऊपर they say you ये कोट.
And but doesn't it work? That's the funda, right?
It works.
It works.
You got that 5,000 rupees extra coating. Was the consumer happy? Will the consumer recommend you? Will he go back feeling proud and happy? Will he think that I dealt with Adhar and wow, what a sweetheart of a guy? No, no. I'll tell you this other example. I went and bought a Bose. I was in the market for a sound system. And I knew I always wanted a good one, so I didn't buy. I was working with the TV one. And my wife knows that I want a good sound system. So one day, and I always believe I'm poor, no matter what. And my wife has to keep telling, you're rich, you know, you can buy. So
Please note.
Please note. So we were going in this RCT mall, and I think his name was Ankit. Great guy, okay. I go in and say, मुझे sound system चाहिए Bose का. तो he's saying, okay, आपका घर कितना बड़ा है? I said, ये है. Saying, then let me sell it to you. But I said, no, I want this 5.1, this, that, something. He's saying, sir, आप tension मत लो. I will tell you what to buy, I will help you, but just hear us. So he takes me into the room. He's saying, so sit in this room, hear this, we close this. So this is the 5.1 system, okay? And hear it, but sir, this is not what we are buying, but hear it, it's superb. This is what you are asking, 5.1 system. This is the thing, and he plays Lion King. This is their favorite one when I think Sher Khan is just about to jump and go boom, and the noise goes like oh. That's one that they keep selling. Okay. So saying, sir, this is this, and you hear this. And Jasmine and me are sitting, and he makes us listen to this system. And he says, sir, ye suno, and you'll enjoy it. And sun raha hu. And then he's saying, sir, just 2 minutes, I'll attend to another customer. And then he comes back and he says, nicely enjoyed it, sir, come. And that other customer is gone. He said, now come outside. So this 900 bar hai, this latest system. आप अभी ये आपका रूम है, आप इधर खड़े रहो, इधर आपका सोफा होगा, ये बार है. Now just listen to this. Is there any difference? Like, this is interesting. ठीक है, सर इसमें सबवूफर हम कनेक्ट करेंगे. सुनो इसको. Subwoofer connect किया. The thump was coming. Everything was very good. I'm looking at Jasmine and it's like, Bha is right. I came in thinking 5.1 and all of that. The Bhaga is saying, ये बराबर चल रहा है. Then I look at it and like the woofer is good and I say, ये बड़ा woofer लेते हैं. Saying, sir एक second, आपका घर कितना बड़ा है? इतना ही है ना? सर ये छोटा woofer सुनो ना. आपका रूम का साइज में the small woofer will work. And when you buy this one bar, this has this ability to throw out. It's the latest tech. Plus this small woofer. Sir, it is good enough. I am telling you it will work.
Yeah.
And you heard it, it's good. Then I was convinced and I was about to buy. And then somebody else was playing some of the other sound bars and I was like, that also sounds good. So the guy is about to bill. He said, okay sir, wait, I won't bill. Don't worry. Sir, what you bought is really good, but wait till they go. And she goes, sir, सुनो इसको, वापस सुनो. इसको सुनाया, वापस मेरे को ही सुनाया. Sir, आप बताओ. And he plays a certain other music. He sings, so this has a splitting of tracks. Listen to this. And I'm like, whoa, boy, he's right.
Yeah.
And he brought my cognitive dissonance, potential cognitive dissonance. Like after I would have bought a high value item, you always are like, this is the best. But I walked out of that Bose knowing that I bought the best. Now, sound is sound. I don't know the big difference. Harmony होगा, वो होगा. मेरे कान में कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. I felt good. And after a year, I'm still talking about Ankit from Bose. And any other person who comes, I say, go to our city, mall, that guy Ankit is there. He's awesome. Buy it from him. And whenever I listen to it, when the Bose system and my woofer is playing, and it plays beautiful music or that, it blows into it, I know what I'm buying. Versus somebody just selling me a 5.1, maybe that made more money. It was more expensive. So, you have to choose कि तेरे को सेल बढ़ाना है कि सेल करना है. अगर सेल बढ़ाना है ना, तो भाई तू सेल्स में नहीं है, तू अकाउंट्स में होगा. आई डोंट नो. सेल करना है. There is a difference. Feel happy.
Very, very different, two interesting points, right? One is that everybody's trying to sell the pro max version of everything, right? Like most users don't need that, but you aspire to push them to, overspend. You push them to actually, go for the biggest and all. That's one thing which is very interesting. And the other thing which I observed is about almost like we talk about brands, right? We talk about brands, and Bose is a big brand. But you said Bose maybe 3 or 4 times in the last conversation, but then you said Ankit maybe a few more times.
Ankit is the guy.
Yeah, so Ankit is the guy, right? So and that itself is so beautiful, right? Like we miss out on that it is that trust, it is those people who actually make it happen.
The
versus
sales process. When I'm buying, what is that sales process that makes me feel nice? What is that process that makes me feel good? When you put a discount afterward before, then you always get discount hunters and all of that. Anything that's built on discount and offer and this, it's always builds some amount of dissonance in it. And don't do that. Sell a honest product, honest price with an honest experience. And people will love you and reward you. Maybe your curve won't look amazing immediately. But it will slowly look bloody good. Because people will talk to other people about it. Virality of a product sale. I mean, you've been in B2B sales, Adhar.
Yeah.
You've been in high volume sales. When one person really loves you, imagine how much they're going to use your product because the way you sold. And then they move companies and they will call you up.
Exactly, yes. So I think I always tell this, that it's also in the long game, right? If you play the long game, then in sales, referral is the thing. मेरा तो फंडा ये था, phone on होना चाहिए. बस phone on होना चाहिए, जो आएगा call उठा. That is how it became eventually. Of course, when I started, I think I started with 300, 400 calls a day.
Which is fair.
Which is how you start, right?
That one, can you go deep into that person's life? That's all. You should know your distributors well. You should know your customers well. You should know your buyers well.
And you were talking about how, there are one-time sales, right? Like people will only buy a product once. So and then referral, exactly. So I think I used to sell real estate long back. That was all through, like, a lot of it by the end of 5 years ended up becoming, I became a lazy sales guy. Like, outbound karta hi nahi
Your
tha.
book becomes valuable.
Yes. Yeah.
Your phone book is the most valuable thing in the world.
Yeah.
I have guys in insurance selling. Their phone books are the most valuable thing in the world because customers swear by them.
True.
We have these amazing guys who don't sell wrong. They will sell right.
And the same
They are
happened.
my top performers.
And the same happened, when I was selling at Netco for product managers. Product managers are like this set of animals, who try to hang around together. It's very interesting. Like, didn't sell to a couple of them, but the way we pitched, the way we, brought the whole narrative together, like, you know what, you should talk to this guy. And I still remember, I think it was a Walnut team. There was a Mansi or somebody there in Walnut. And they were not never my customers, but I know that they referred me to MyGate, and MyGate became my customer. And also, it's about trust, right? They're like, Adhar ka naam suna hua ecosystem mein, right? Yeah, theek hai, wo bechega nahi, but we will come with some insights.
Idea.
Yeah.
Am I happy to talk to? Am I valuable to talk to?
Be interesting.
My bosses used to tell me, so I was in consulting for a very brief period, brand consulting, and the greatest boss ever in my life, Dharin Chatta, the greatest that changed my life. We used to make a pitch. And I used to often tell him, sir, a pitch mein itna, you're spending so much time and effort in the pitch. The client can just look at the pitch and walk away and not take our business and be extremely better off. He said, Jaimit, remember one thing. If you step in that room, the fact that, Jaimit, you stepped in that room, you have to add value. That's it. Whether you sell or not sell, whether you work or not work, have you added value moment you stepped in? And I will never forget those words in my life.
There are takers, there are givers, and there are connectors, at least that. And a lot of time I used to think, it's the connectors, it's the people who, who are smart and who. But I think I've seen this often enough that you give generously, it does come back. And even if it doesn't, you end up feeling so much nicer. It's, it's like, it's a game. तो game खेलने में मजा आया.
जीना अच्छा है ना. You feel happy, no? Yes. What is life? Going back to sleep feeling happy with a smile on your face, no? You want to sleep with a frown or you want to sleep with a smile?
Yeah.
My philosophy. But I've seen it happen. I've seen it in insurance. We're running a high performance channel. Like in 3 years, we like grown the business 10 times, etc. And it's like crazy beautiful. And I've clamped down on bad practices. I've clamped down and fired people for mis-selling. I've clamped down on all unethical practices that we do. I've institutionalized a lot of processes that are honest. I don't give exceptions. If your target is, let's say, 50, you do 49.5 and you come to me and say, sir, मेरे को exception में दो. My system knows. Jaimit से exception मिलना impossible है. Rules clear है game के. Then क्या होता है ना? Exception, sir, you like that person. Sir, you like that one. Sir, that is good. There is no exception. There is clarity. Process भी clarity से चलती है. System भी discipline से चलता है. And customer को you have to take care. Complain आया. I will investigate. And if found wrong, you may be the best guy in the world. You mess with a customer, you are out. You are out. If I have proof that you messed with the customer, you are out. I don't. I want to build a good, clean system. And we are growing.
What do you attribute it to?
Discipline.
Yeah.
That's it. Discipline. Hold few tenets clear in your life. I am fairly known as the ass who doesn't budge. I don't budge. I don't give exceptions. मेरे को बहुत क्लियर है, एक्सेप्शन चाहिए, मेरे पे तो मिलने ही नहीं वाला है, तो आके मेरे को समझा, उधर ही आधे ओढ़ गए, उसमें से somebody will come and try and give an exception. I'm like, okay, सुनना, बोल दिया, okay, answer, no. I don't give exceptions. There is a discipline. I found out that you missold. I have an entire department that goes and investigates. Missold? You will not be spared. You did anything wrong in the sales system, you will not be spared. You are out. And not gracious exit. I will give you an exit without a relieving letter, a proper exit, because you fiddled and did wrong. The clear rules of the game are there. And when you do right, consumers के साथ अच्छा करते हो, then you will get referral business. हमारा एक ही base से we are getting more business. And what do we focus on? What does the sales guys require? Training. So we have an entire training unit saying we will train you, we will again train you. We won't just send you out and say, "Job बेच क्या?" It's difficult. So we will train you, we will give you leads, we will support you, we will give you good incentive, honest incentives. If committed, we meet our incentives. There is nothing. If I have committed a conference that you will go for, if you achieve something, you will go for that damn conference. There is no if, but. Means you've been in sales, फालतू में बेचना, you will make so much money and then you look at it and Arey, but there is this debit, that debit. Clean systems. No docking unnecessary. No last moment changes. Once committed is bloody committed. It may go out of your budget because you calculated wrong. Then you change it next month. But you cannot meddle. You have to pay. Make your salespeople rich, but also ensure that your game is clear.
Yeah.
Clean dhanda mein aata hai. I believe it totally. I've seen it in my life. There is no reason to be anywhere else.
I still remember, there was this beautiful post. I think you took some employees some sales folks to Taj.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that guy, I think it's a LinkedIn post or something.
think so.
Yeah, it was so beautiful, man. Like I still remember it, right? He's like, कि मैं नीचे खड़े होके. What was it, right?
I'll tell you that one. So I think it's an Instagram post. So a lot of our salespeople, the average salary is between under 5 lakhs. And they make an incentive that's a multiple of that. And that's how the business works. And a lot of them come from humble backgrounds, etc. And for them, stepping into a Taj hotel, you can take them to any 5-star, but you take it to a Taj. I mean, you step in and you're intimidated by that polish and the shine and that M.F. Hussain painting and that antique, which is 500 years old, and the walls with Bill Clinton's photographs and all of that. And for a lot of people in Bombay, they go to Gateway of India and they've seen the Taj. And the guy said, it was very important for us that I achieved. And that what he said was, I also felt like crying. And I thought, what a beautiful thing. He said, all our lives, we were down looking up at Taj. Thanks to this, we were in Taj looking down on people.
Down at the gateway.
At the gateway, at the people.
Yeah.
I am it. I have achieved it, even if it's for a day or two. It just blew people's mind. And our award function, I am very clear that there are these awards that happen. I get into nitty-gritties of this award function. Every small thing we manage, I receive the winners. I personally hug them. I talk to them and make them feel important. They are like, I calculated the other day, there are 14 levels between me and them, Like sales progression, there are 8 levels of sales progression. Then there is this, then there is this, it's like 14 levels. My salary, my t-shirt which I'm wearing comes from the fact that person has sold. I'm clear. Where am I making my daughter's education fees, which is very critical to me, comes because the poor sales guy is going out in the sun. And that salesperson is selling. That lady is facing all the issues and still selling. And if they achieve it, I have to give that. And we are very clear on that, how it makes them feel, how it makes them feel important and big. And after this event, we have people crying. Because that's what we make them feel important. We put the spotlight on them. And we put them on a pedestal. And the HO, the senior big guys, CXOs, are down. And then they come in and we put, everybody else is in darkness and they are in light. And they get that feeling that I have achieved it. Pride matters more than money, bro. And when they go back and they come back with stories of parents crying, they come back with stories that the WhatsApp video call was on while they were achieving the award. These videos are then forwarded by the father to all his friends and saying that my kid, my daughter achieved it. It is unimaginably beautiful. It is unimaginably beautiful.
How do you infuse meaning in your life?
As long as I'm learning new things, as long as I'm doing new things and creating positive impact in either my team or my consumer, both हो गया, meaning मिल गया. उससे ज़्यादा I can't think. I mean, I don't have too much beyond that. And hopefully I'll get overpaid in return. But
Keep it simple. Na?
yeah. Like, are you doing new things? Are you learning new things? Are you getting a chance to do it? Or you have I love my boss. Why? Because he doesn't really irritate me. He doesn't get into my life. As long as you're doing new things and I tell him, the new thing I'm doing this, and he's like, okay, cool.
Tell me more, so this over-indexation on new things, kyun matlab? In a sense, it's a distraction, na, Jaimit? Do what you can do it well, repeat it, and in repeatability, you will find some,
Of course.
sort of thing.
Of course.
But then, or is it because you're a leader, it is your duty to kind of go out there and figure out the new things, because team will prefer to, we kind of implode inside and we are like, yaar, ye complacent hai, ye sahi hai, chal raha hai, life chal rahi hai, chalte jahan do. And that's exactly how companies die. So is it you try and be the edge?
My belief is that everybody should do new things. If you're not doing new things, then you're soon going to become irrelevant. So I believe that maybe my career has been like this for me. I've always done new things. So when people ask me, digital mein kitne saal se hai? How many years of digital experience you have? I have 24 years of digital experience. Genuinely.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that even... Digital itself is not 24 years.
It is.
Yeah.
1999, Rajesh Jain, who's the Netcore founder, sold his company for 499 crores to SIFI, India World Properties or something like that. Okay, Sawal.com, Khoj.com, I think something like that. That set up the boom for internet in India. So, pehle Sabir Bhatia sold Hotmail. So, we thought US mein Indians can do it. So, that's awesome. When Rajesh Jain sold it, people went bonkies. I went bonky. And I'm like, ये क्या कर रहा है और मैं रूरल गुजरात में टूथपेस्ट बेच रहा हूँ. I like, bhai, I have to be a part of this. And in 9900, I decided that I want to be a part of digital. And I left my FMCG job and I said, digital. And that's when I got into digital.
How did you get that break?
No, that time it's very simple. No, you are a young kid. And digital, you want young kids. Because old people looked at digital and said, and I looked at digital. If you are 23, 24, you look at digital. Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't want to do this?
Yeah.
Are you serious? You don't want to do digital? This is a sexy, beautiful thing. Why would you not do this? Like email or like chat.
Yeah.
You're chatting with random people. Why would you not do that? Why would you not do these contests? Why would you not these fun things? The website is so beautiful. I to think it was joy. I went bonkies. I to went after it. Then in I think 2003, 2004, I read the book The Search and the Google story. And I'm like, भाई Google free में traffic दे रहा है. मेरे को search करने का है. And we were wondering कि search क्या होता है? Search engine optimization क्या होता है? And I'm like, where do I get an agency that does? So we found out there were 1 or 2 agencies that did SEO or claimed to do SEO. Basically, they were finding with you. And then I found Prashant from Puritech. He's still a good friend. And we met him and he was doing our website. And I said, ये करना है. He said, हम कर सकते हैं. And I'm like, कैसे करेंगे? Like, figure. साथ में करके. So 2005 में, I did search engine optimization. I think I claim, obviously false claim. There is no basis for this. I was the first person to do search engine optimization in BFSI for sure. And I think BFSI did search engine optimization before, financial services did before than any FMCG. So I have done 18 years of search engine optimization. Like, पहले मेरे को करने का, because free में नहीं दे रहा, मैं गुज्जू है. कोई मेरे को free में दे रहा है, मैं तो बहुत खुश हो गया. And I was heading marketing for international, Kotak International. I'm like, करने का है भाई. And that's when we did this. And we started getting this great insights and stuff like that. So, like, digital is freak beautiful, man. It is, how can you not like it? I don't know. I genuinely have from 1999 digital experience. So when many people ask me like digital kitna, and I give my email ID, it's like jaimit@gmail.com.
Yes,
Kisi ka, how many people do you know whose email ID is name@gmail.com kind of a thing. So it's like, जा. Now you know किससे बात कर रहा है मालूम है क्या? That's my flex.
This is the web 2 flex.
Web 2 flex. so it's one of those. So I love the space, man. And like it's amazing. It's ability to my Guju brain. I think I'm a Guju at heart, body, soul, everything. To my Guju brain, the ability to do more productivity, more with less. Digital is it. Digital is more with less. It's amazing. Why would you not do it?
And what about now? Like, how are you looking at the future? How is it like? What's working right now?
Phygital is working for us a lot, and I believe that Phygital is beautiful.
ये क्या होता है?
Phygital, अरे I thought Bangalore में Phygital तो सब लोग सबको आता है रे.
नहीं, is it with the F वाला या with the P वाला?
Yeah, PP. Phygital, I believe that I think at certain scale, etc., the ability to take human beings and digital and enmesh them together. So the real answer is not pure digital. The real answer is not physical. Is when you take digital processes and understanding and learning and you put that on the physical process and then you optimize and increase productivity. Like you have to look at digital as a productivity multiplier and a business multiplier. So I often say that we look at what is the vision. So somebody had asked me when I joined insurance, what's your vision for the firm and the digital firm? I say it's Iron Man. Iron Man is a human being. Iron Man doesn't have special powers, but the ability to take technology and suddenly make Tony Stark, Iron Man is the big one. So understanding that there is a person inside this huge tech is extremely critical. And when you realize this together and then you look at how it works, I think it's phenomenal. And when we started putting in like productivity of the little sales channel that I run went up crazy high, man. Productivity is just growing, and every time I think इससे ज़्यादा productivity नहीं होता है, and it just gets better because you start putting digital processes and digital way of thinking, and you say that this is the person, like, how can I make this better? How can I make him sell better? How can I make him service better? How can I make his life better? How can I make him prospect better? How can I make him connect with the consumer better and use all the digital tools around it to really put the playbook, make it work, ensure the systems get followed, understand how he's moving, and the thing works. And I think Phygital is the big one that's huge.
Haven't you seen like people getting just overwhelmed by so many tooling, so much
you
happening?
make it simple. See, even we also in our business have some 5-6 different tools, and sometimes I wonder if कुछ ज़्यादा हो गया है. But ऐसा नहीं होता है. If the person knows for this is one tool, I have to prospect, here is my tool and this is what works. Here is my servicing tool and it works. Here is my this tool and it works. This all-in-one super app, I'm not so bullish. You see, each of the tools has its own maturity, its own tech debt and all of that. You try and bunch them together, no, it becomes exponentially painful to work with.
Isn't this how humans are? Like, like we like tools in a certain way, even in the physical world, even in physical spaces.
बेचने के लिए ये है, ये करने के लिए ये है, ये करने के लिए ये है.
It's almost like how we kind of categorize things. Even when we meet new people, we are always trying to put them in a box. We're trying to understand, and that's how we think in boxes.
So I also believe so. Yeah, it's easier. I don't think, see, super app works in China, but China's ecosystem is different. China's regulatory system is different, etc. But when everything just is blast open and everybody can do everything, and there is innovation at every corner, I don't know. And plus, we're a legacy company. Legacy company also requires some crazy amount of tech to do a super app. It's just easier if we work in boxes and consumers feel happy, and at best, you solve basic login issues, you solve basic context holding between apps. I think it does 95% of the job at 20% of the cost. It's set hai.
But it's true here as well, right? Like, think of it. Like, for me, Swiggy still remains a food delivery app. Like, I can, like, if I have to send something to someone, I know you can do it inside Swiggy, and I think now you can do it inside Uber as well.
Uber and everywhere.
But I'll still go back to Dunzo. Like, it's just become that,
habit of how you kind of look at a product and how you're like, okay, ये यही करता है, and this is what it does, right? Even though now use cases and like again, it's trying to become a super app and all, but
I don't know. Maybe I'm happy to be proven wrong. Every 5 years, I think I've been proved wrong a lot. It's been good fun. So I want to be proven wrong also on this. It's good fun. क्या मालूम? I thought mobile क्या फायदा होगा life में? When I thought many years when I saw a computer and looking at it, like when I was a kid and I remember talking to my dad, I don't know what the use of a damn computer is. I didn't look at a computer and say it's the greatest thing in the world when I was a kid. I didn't look at a mobile phone and say it's the greatest thing in the world. I didn't look at an Apple touch interface and say it's the greatest thing in the world. It then struck me, and then when life slaps you, fart. I can only tell you that maybe I'm good at getting slapped and learning from it as opposed to catching it fast. I don't know which one. Over a period of time, I think I've been slapped more than caught faster.
that's a humbling experience. Says a guy who has been slapped enough number of times as well. Yeah.
मजा आता है ना getting slapped.
क्या करेंगे?
मेरा फादर इन लॉ मेरे को बोलता था कि गलतियाँ करो, 100 बार करो, 1000 बार करो, लेकिन एक गलती दोबारा मत करो.
Very similar to my Nana ji. He used to say that there are 3 types of people. Right? There are people who make their own mistakes and don't learn from it. Or then there are people who make their mistakes and learn from it. And then there is a third category of people who see someone else make a mistake and learn from it. You like, try be the third guy.
Try and be the third guy.
If not, it's okay be the second guy.
2 and 3 के बीच में तेरा life आ गया. You're 90% of world wisdom.
Yes. But if you're in the last category, तो थोड़ा problem है. Like, देख ले, like, do some introspection around that.
No, I often say कि if I do the same mistake once, fine. Good learning. Second, oh damn, nice one. Shit, I didn't see it coming again. Remember, Jaimit, remember. If I do the mistake third time, same mistake third time, I tell myself, Jaimit, you're designed for this, so stop cribbing. ये तेरी life में यही होने वाला है. ये चीज़ में you're going to get screwed here. Try and avoid such situations, or you're going to make this mistake twice, and you deserve this nonsense. So then accept it.
Yeah.
Then don't crib.
Yeah. How do you like? Do you make like let's look at that. Let's look at failure, right? For a minute, like just talk about that. Is it around people? Is it like, do you make mistakes in judgment around
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah. As a people believe that I'm like damn good. I think they look at their successes. I don't know. I used to feel I have a good hunch in people. I used to believe that a lot of people, my bosses used to have good hunch in people. But over a period of time, I've learned, I think it's a 50-50 only. I don't know. People are complex. They have emotions. Maybe they are right. Maybe the environment went wrong. Maybe they change.
Yes.
Maybe something is more complex in people's brains. I have learned to not hold myself too harshly on this or not think too much. You play with the cards you dealt, you make mistakes, you learn, you avoid certain things, look for certain red flags, but beyond that, I don't know. I don't think I'm a quick judge of people and how good they are. I'm just happily wary of everyone.
Is that?
सबको प्यार कर. Everybody is good until proven bad. But remember, when you look at a peacock from close, you will look at the legs. Peacock is also very pretty. Far से everybody is अच्छा. भगवान में भी खोट नजदीक से people will start making. So everybody is good. When you go with a magnifying glass, you will find pores and bad spots in everywhere. And they are human beings. Work with what you have. See if you can reduce bad elements in your life, if you're able to. Like office environments, how you can't just cut bad elements. That doesn't work. To work with them. And they're not bad. They're doing their piece. It's just that you and them didn't fit. It's okay. There are people who they work with. So,
But this is interesting, right? Office and because it's Jaimit I'm talking to, so I can actually even open this box. Politics, right? There is so much of it. You need to look at perception management.
You have
need to. There's so much.
Yeah, there is.
And a lot of folks who, I think we grow up, right? We're in school, then we go to college, we figure some things out, and then you start working, and then there are a lot of slaps life gives you, and then you realize that, oh shit.
A lot of lot of your posterior gets kicked.
Yes. And how?
And how?
So we spoke about businesses, right? We spoke about how you look at research, how you look at consumer insights, what do you do there? How do you go next from there? How do you look at, like, we spoke about like having goals and having like a clear focus on, objectives. And what does that look like for you? Like a lot of times, especially bigger organizations, right? Look, there is a mission statement, and by the time it, percolates, it's all a mess.
I'm not a fan of mission statements.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not seen any mission statement that goes down the line, and I don't know. I personally hate mission statements. Personally.
How do you like, so as a leader, right? Jaimit, how do you take people like this, to take them together on a journey, right? Because it's very it's easy to get distracted, right? It's so easy to kind of lose focus on what's working, what's not working. How do you do that?
I whatever I've seen in life, whatever one phrase that I always love, and it keeps coming back to me, must have repeated it the most amount of times. A chance to work hard at work worth doing. और क्या चाहिए life में? And I rather work with people who like this, chance to work hard. I want to work hard. I want to come to work and work really hard. I want to work my ass off. And I want to work hard at work worth doing. Now, what is worth doing? A good question. Again, that goes back to what I had said earlier. Naya kar raha hai, new things you're learning, you're doing well, you're adding value to somebody's life. Either your team or the consumer. You will do well. I mean, within that, if you see an opportunity to grow, it's awesome. It's funny, the part of sales that I run, no, I do a small, it's obviously a smaller piece. If you ask me today what percentage are my versus target, I won't know. What is my sales for today? I genuinely won't know. I know broadly we are going above target or whatever. I look at principles, I look at businesses. I don't lose sleep on targets and numbers. I lose sleep on bad practices, good practices. I lose sleep on innovation, and I lose sleep on ability to do well, thinking, executing, working some ideas, getting an idea that makes somebody's life better and really trying to work on that. I lose sleep there. I see sales as an outcome. So I often said input matrix versus outcome. If you look at sales number, that's outcome. And you go and call up someone, अरे तो sales नहीं किया, तेरा number नहीं हुआ. Joker है तू, like seriously. He was like screaming. You have to ask him at the start of the month, how many contacts have you got? Do you have leads? Are you able to call them? Look at those numbers. Find out your input problems. And if you have good input, output is an outcome. It's called an outcome, output. You don't look at output and lose sleep. Look at input, and I lose sleep on input. Input मेरा गलत होता है and I feel very angry with myself. Damn, shit, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I really hold myself, sometimes I hold myself very harshly to it. And people ask me, like, you hold yourself too harsh. Like, company not asking. I said, but I am asking, know myself. That's important. And I look at my team like, तू अपने आप को पूछना कि तूने सीन किया है, तूने इम्पैक्ट नहीं डाला है, तू क्या घर जाके सो रहा है? Input.
Yeah. I think if you don't do that, you're kind of guaranteeing a failure, right? And
No, then you're not guaranteeing, you are tossing coin. Hey, you want to toss coin and make money, go to Vegas. गोवा में casino offshore है, जाओ. I don't go to casino because मेरे दिमाग में नहीं fit होता है. Input. If you want to gamble, go. There are lots of places you can make money. Or lose money.
more latter than
A lot of successful people are there. Sales system works. All those viral videos you see of sales guys going and screaming and all that. Output pe you are screaming. I mean, I can't believe more dumbass people in this world. Input. Look at the input. And there, put your brains there. Manage that. Input matrix always. That's I mean.
What about input metrics in your life? Like beyond work? Health, relationships?
I'm fairly emotional and family is very important to me. Anytime when the family is even a little off, it shows on my work and shows everywhere. So I try and ensure that family and core tenets of family and conversations, and that is very important to me. But health, I have learned over a period of time, is extremely important. Actually, ये सब बुढ़े होने के बाद ही समझ में आता है. And doing resistance training is like important. Running, playing some sport is bloody important. And looking at your food, just look at it and say that, is this good for me? Like basic science, they look at it and say like, ये important है या नहीं important है? And that's it. You should be largely there. And don't listen to food and health tips on Instagram. That's like how you would not go to a finfluencer for finance. Do not go to a influencer for health.
Yeah.
So don't do those stupid things. But if you're largely and you look at yourself every day and you weigh yourself, or you wear your pants and you say, okay, tight ho raha hai, and you look at yourself and say, okay, this is what my goal is, or this is what my self-worth is, and stay within that. And are you healthy enough to do what you do without gasping, or are you able to do your everyday job? You don't have to be the fittest guy. You don't have to be lean. You don't have to be whatever. That's not the job. Job to be done. Are you doing well? And are you feeling happy about it every day? What do you want to do? And that's good. That's like fair. I don't want to be faster and run my miles faster than other people, but I want to stay within that zone.
And does that impact your work as well? Like
it impacts
health.
it positively.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. That's exactly.
It impacts it phenomenally positively. So a lot of people keep asking me, where do you get the energy and all that? I'm like, where do you not get the energy? No, but if you are the ability to hold your back, the ability to hold your shoulders, the ability to hold your brain. If you get tired, physically tired, your brain swoops, your head falls, and it impacts your conversations in the evening, 6 baje, 7 baje, in the evening when you're having those decisions, etc. But if you're fit, if you're healthy, you have that energy and the strength to hold your body. I believe there is a physical strength required to hold your body through the day. At least that's what I believe works for me. And I have seen that positively impact every day. And that the energy you're able to bring at 9 a.m. and the energy that you're able to bring at 7 a.m. is it same? If it's same, then your body is working for you. If it's not same and you see yourself slouching or working or bhai ghar jana hai mere ko, then you have to ask yourself that question ki karna hai ki nahi karna hai. So that's what I like, and I get pleasure in being faster. I get pleasure in a cricket match that's happening in office and I am running faster than other people. And when somebody is running with me, they know that they better run with me, because when I'm running the third run and they're running the second run and the guy is 20 years younger to me, I get visceral pleasure out of it. So that is joy for me. But that is, you have to define what works for you.
But this has changed. So I've known you for about 6-7 years now, around that much, and this has changed recently.
That's 3-4 years more.
If you look at a lot of youngsters, like the young India, they are not getting the voice as much as they would like to. I do see that, you try to kind of index on that.
Yeah. So I have learned it in my life. There was one Archie Comics post that I remember, comic that I remember very well, like Mr. Lodge, I think Veronica's father is Mr. Lodge. He's like, he's on the computer, he's like, 1 second, I'm a little confused, I'll have to get an expert. He gets Archie in, and Archie looks at it, okay, this is really complicated, I have to get a real expert. And he gets, I think, who's Veronica's nephew? I think Leroy or some characters that. I must be getting drunk. And he gets that even younger person in. I am very clear. I don't want to talk to a person older to me. See, people who are older to you, na, sunne ka from experience. But if you want to change the world and you want new stuff in, talk to people younger to you.
Exactly. That's why this podcast is ending, bus. I want to talk to you.
True. I know. I don't know why I'm talking to old people on podcast. Speak to younger, exciting people. Why are you listening to older people? The older people can give you some experience of what has gone in their lives. Sunne ka. Of course, sunne ka. It will give you experience. But like I often say, don't listen to your father. Your father will tell you in your best interest. He'll tell you what happened in his life, but make your own damn mistakes, yaar. And every innovation has been proving the older generation wrong. So you have to listen to older generation on a lot of things, but speak to younger people, give them more power. Younger people pick the right people. Of course, younger people come with all their different sets of problems, I understand. But garam खून वहाँ से ही निकलता है, वहाँ से ही change will happen. Old people can't change world. Old people want the world to remain same. So the CEO having power, I think the CEO's job is not to have power. It is to set some basic frame building, but allow the young kids to come, use public goods, use public infra or companies' common infra to innovate, to do better, to do different things. As a young kid, I always felt कि यार बॉस को चमकता नहीं है, वो CEO को नहीं चमकता, ये नहीं करना चाहिए. And we should be doing other things. And over a period of time, I realized I was right. And they didn't allow me. So I have to figure out, I always try and think, get young people and ask them what they're doing and allow them to do it. Get out of the way. Your job is to be a bulldozer. So one of the big ones I often say, don't motivate people. If people want motivation, they're the wrong people. Get people who are motivated. What are the demotivators? Get rid of them. As an older person, your role in life is to ensure you are a bulldozer. तेरे को कौन irritate कर रहा है? कौन तेरे को resource नहीं दे रहा है? कौन तेरा मेल का जवाब नहीं दे रहा है? कौन तेरे को नहीं, चल मेरे से बात करवा. Get out of the way, let him do his job, let her do her job. She's got the one with the idea, she's got the one doing the things. She's younger, she has more energy, she has more ideas, she's on the ball, she's meeting. You give some wisdom, you push them to, okay, you're doing it, what is the basis? Do you have a consumer in the room? Do you have consumer impact? What is the cost impact? Have you thought through? Ask questions. But damn, get out of the way, man. I'd love to get out of the way.
So we can, like two things from here. One is I would love to understand more on how you evolved, right? From an operator set to now a leader. But I'm going to park that for a minute, Jaimit. Like, what I really want to look at it here is like once you do talk to youngsters, when you do talk to, the new age who you are selling to as a marketeer, as an adult, how are you looking at कि यार ये नहीं चलेगा, right? Yeah, this is how I want to actually, like, what are those insights around marketing essentially? You've been doing it for a fairly long time, right? And you've seen it even evolve. So how is that looking for you?
I believe advertising is dead. Advertising is dead. खत्म हो गया, मर गया. चलो, rest in peace. 2-minute silence for advertising. The death of advertising.
Why?
I'll tell you what is happening is, I think earlier, maybe there was a broadcast era and some people had the right to make content. And these people, you make content and you broadcast it to a whole range of people. And I will tell you that this is what you have to see. And this is why you have to think that way. I think there was a command control center where one person sets the ad to solve one problem and then you move ahead. what the internet and the digital mediums and the proliferation of social has done is that it's allowed everybody to come up and it's allowed everybody to have a voice. Now, advertising is seen and it's boring and it can get called out as advertising. I think advertising is dead and I think content is the new game. Even if you're advertising, your job is to create good content, not good advertising. We started experimenting a lot with this and I think we're still not nowhere there. We're still nowhere near where I believe we should be. Because it's still very difficult. I keep telling my agency that your quality is so good. Can you bring down the quality of your ad? They're like, why? I said, थोड़ा सा कचरा लाइट ले, थोड़ा सा वो रिंग लाइट ले, थोड़ा सा मिस्टेक आने दे, थोड़ा सा बेसिक एडिटिंग कर. If there are influencers that are gaining tons of stuff, is your message, is your output looking like content or is it looking like advertising? If it's looking like advertising, nobody wants it. It should look like content and it should also be content.
Yeah.
Last year, we came up with an ad, okay? Not an ad. We were speaking to an agency, a young agency, I think, 0 followers. Very interesting characters. They are background, one of the guys has a background in theater and other things, and they set up this agency and they said, हम आपके लिए ads बना सकते हैं. तो बोला ठीक है, ads बनाते हैं, and we started discussing some ads and all of that. And then I was like very clear, ad मत बना, चल एक story बनाते हैं. Okay, story बनाते हैं. So we created this concept of Supriya and insurance agents. We wanted to build pride among our insurance agents. Insurance agents are after lawyers as the most hated community. Insurance agent का phone आया, you don't know whether you want to pick up, but every insurance agent will tell you that, sir, जब आप actually something happens in your family, तभी ना insurance agent सब छोड़ छाड़ के will stand by you, and we are pillar of society, and we ensure you get your claim fast. We finish the paperwork. We're there for you, which is true. A lot of the good insurance agents are actually there for the family in the worst times, and that's a very interesting, powerful insight. And we also realize that you take this insight, you take the woman insight. That woman in sales leaves the family, manages the family, and does this. We took these two insights and we smashed them together, and we said, एक काम करते, story बोलते हैं. We made a 3-minute film. So I call it not advertising, we call it films. Digital film बनाया मैंने. 3 minutes. So it was 3 minutes 42 seconds, some random number. When we played it, and in my life as a marketing person, I have played hundreds of ads for my salespeople. And sales guys look at an ad and say, sir, बहुत अच्छी ad है. और they'll say, sir, मजा नहीं आया और ये नहीं आया. I have the video of it on my phone. I played the film, and it's about Supriya, who's the insurance agent. She gets a call one day. Suddenly she gets a call ki, Sharma ji, okay. So one of our clients passed away and she leaves the family. The kid is there, the husband is there, and she just runs out saying, I have to sort it. And typically in India, you know, the issues like death certificate time पे नहीं मिल रहा है, वो नहीं मिल रहा है. She says, नहीं कुछ नहीं, I will get it and I'll help you. And she said, कैसे नहीं हो रहा है, I'll help you get it. And sir, मैं claim pass करता हूँ. And in the end, the husband gets little irritated and says कि ये क्या कर रहे हो तुम? Claim pass करने का पैसा नहीं मिलता है insurance agent को. And the lady is like, what the hell is the husband talking? And husband is a nice guy, but he gets irritated because she's just putting the customer first. And see this Tashan, moment you make the agent a male, this Tashan doesn't come in. So this is that lady feeling that Tashan. And afterwards, there is a little bit that comes in, and again, it's completely basis insight. Every bit of it is some insurance agent who's told me this. And at the end, the client, I mean the गुप्ता जी जो मर गए उनकी फैमिली उसको बुलाते हैं मिठाई का शॉप ओपन करने को. एंड in the opening, the son comes and goes to Supriya and say, "Ki you will inaugurate," and she's like, "Me?" And she says, and he says, "When Dad died, we were lost, but you held us in. You ensured the claim process and all. Otherwise, we didn't know all of this. And if not for you, we were there." And she looks at the husband, and the husband then realizes that mistake that he made, and he gives that importance. And you can see that the thing coming in, and she cuts the ribbon. When we played this ad, it's a 2-3 minute ad, to my salespeople and some of the agents, everywhere I got a standing ovation. People got up and started clapping. And people got up and started like, "Kya bol diya tune? Kya kar diya?" And that we didn't spend too much money on it. And of course, a lot of it got viral on social media. But the unsaid virality was WhatsApp, because you never track. And it went all over WhatsApp. And you only realize when competition tried to copy it, you realize how really big and important it was. And other people tried to copy it, really badly done. But that content people felt, because it's real insight, real touch-in. And we were able to bring it out. And I didn't have to say insurance. It just happened to be in insurance context. But the story is about Supriya. The story is about the female sales lead. The story is about how they leave everything and work for the consumer. And what are the consequences of it, and how does the protagonist win out of it, and how it works. These are stories. Tell stories. Tell stories of redemption. Tell stories of struggle and fight and victory. Tell stories of how it really works. And when I came back, and this year I'm saying we're going to do Supriya Part 2 and Supriya Part 3, and everybody's like, "Sir, kya tha? Wohi karna hai." Sorry. That is what works. People want good, relatable content. So then the advertising, traditional marketing structure of a central command
breaks down.
You have to break it down. You have to have certain boundaries. कि ये मैं करूँगा, ये मैं नहीं करूँगा. But allow stories to flourish. Allow people to come up. Certain ads, certain things on Instagram that we do, some funny memes we do, we don't know where they're going. And suddenly, meme that we thought are amazing, bomb.
Yeah.
And some of the memes are like, ye kahan tha? And wo hit ho gaya. And people start sharing. But it is stories and content. So where is the brand then? Earlier it was about positioning, and the brand stands for one small thing. I don't think it's now there. I think it's a lot more organic. I think what's very important is that the ability to tell enough stories, and as long as you're able to hold the stories within the broad context of your consumer insight and your brand broad insight. Earlier it used to be very narrow. Make it a little broad. Hold those insights, create that story, and keep pushing out. You're good. As long as you have the right insights, the stories will come out well, and people will reward you for it. Content is bigger than advertising. Stories, when you look at it, make it work. Forget whatever you've learned as advertising. Understand stories, understand consumers, have beautiful content and have fun. Stay within broad framework. It gets rewarded.
Yeah, it does. It totally does. And I think that's what I'm seeing a lot of brands now, instead of investing and talking to agencies essentially and, getting that kind of, ad sort of thing, they go to influencers. They go and, again, the whole influencers and all that. But they essentially do that as a way to, short circuit it, right? They do, like, instead of creating their own Supriya stories and figuring that out, they'll be like, here is some money. Hey, you know what? Here is the pitch. You go create something and then have this very artificial, weird plug, which is in
That's
between.
what, I was speaking to a few influencers, some really good guys. And you know what they're telling me? Sir, हम लोग हमारा audience मालूम है. हमको आपका ब्रांड का बेसिक्स बता दो, हम कंटेंट बनाएंगे, आपका प्लगइन प्यार से आएगा, रियल आएगा. अगर मैं ना सबसे प्यारा नया उजाला, you know, if I do that, it will not sell.
Yeah.
Please don't give me more gyan to put in.
Yeah.
Allow me to create a story. Influencers get that. We in brand know we have too many boundaries.
Yeah.
We have to realize that the democratization of content has happened. The democratization of how you use the brand has happened. And there are many, many ways the brand gets used. The many ways the product gets used. The meanings are there. Are you able to create that and allow it to proliferate? And within that, if you are creating a platform where these stories are happening, your brand gets that rub off. It's fine. It comes in. Like the we started doing, one of the big hits we've been doing. Again, very difficult to quantify because I don't get numbers.
Attribution.
Attribution नहीं मिल रहा है मेरे को साला brand में. Is WhatsApp forward. So now what we did is we stopped making घटिया ads. So we made a product. We made an ad. Ad ये format में बना और सब किया और डाला. It went like this and it sank. It just died that ad. And like कोई forward नहीं कर रहा है, कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. And then we said, एक second, let's make it content. So we made it very content led. We found out a lot of it. I went and like spent hours on Instagram. My wife thought I was doing time pass. I was actually trying to understand all this.
That's what you're saying now.
We looked at Instagram formats and we realized
Yes.
article करना है,
Yeah.
quick editing करना है, story fast बोलनी है, and how it relates to your life फटाक से, no random, huge metaphors in life, vivid metaphor. वो छोड़ दे, clean बोलो, ये क्या आपको मालूम, this is amazing because of this, what, and so we made this one ad. I think that ad we made for 1-2 lakh rupees by an agency called Shortform. So उसके साथ बैठ के बात किया, and we did this, and they got the brief, and we did the ads, and it looked like an Instagram content. According to me, give me 100 crore of sales. Because when we put it out, it immediately within my community of advisors and my sales guys went viral. They put it as their WhatsApp DP and WhatsApp status. And WhatsApp status is the most underutilized thing because you only can put content over there. Content that looks like content. The moment you make it an ad kind of a thing, it won't sell. But if you make it like a content where you build it nice and looks like content, it works. So advertising that looks like content, it talks about how influencers talk, and understand that. Don't give your shit to influencers. Allow them to take it in. It works. And it was doing well. So I think advertising in that format seems to be dying. Advertising as content and you're spreading it out and getting organic and democratic. It's doing too good, man. It's doing too good.
Nice.
ठीक है. That's true. बोलो.
Cool. So, you're talking about leadership, right? We were talking about how you look at it, how you have evolved as an operator, right? And now looking at you as a seasoned leader, again, beautiful journey. Tell us more about that, right? And from a specific angle, right? A lot of our listeners are operators, just starting out in their career, couple of years of experience. They're ambitious. They would want to get there where you are, right? What does it take? How have you changed, right? In the way you operate and how you look at things.
So I think earlier any young kid believes that the force and the energy and the power of what they bring in and their ideas can change the world, and I think that's right. That's the right thing to do. But every person at a certain age has a certain role in life, and that's how you have to mature. I think when you're young and you have that energy and the power and the ideas, go ahead. Make your mistakes. Take tons of risk. Don't do jobs. Try your business. Try a startup. Do everything. Like somebody once told me, "Naukri, no curry."
No curry.
So it's nice. You have to do that. You have to bring that energy in. But as you and it's not age led, but I think a lot of young founders I see missing this a little bit. As you move up on the leadership curve, now that's a lot age agnostic. There's of course energy that you need to bring, but at the leadership level, there's a lot of different mindset. And I think I learned a lot of this in a public office. So
Public office?
Public office. So I'll tell you what happened. My daughter was swimming, so the swimming pool needs to get managed and all that. We realized that swimming pool was not getting managed. The water has to be certain this thing. So me and my friend said, साले इलेक्शंस में खड़ा होके वो जिमखाना का pool का सब कमिटी में घुसेंगे. So then we got into the subcommittee because we wanted the coach to get proper timings. We wanted him to get better lanes and all of that. So we got into that. So वहाँ से we got in. We understood how a swimming pool operates. We understood bathrooms need to be renovated. And the water needs to get managed. The backwash needs to get done. The chlorine needs to get managed. So we wanted, because my daughter was there 4 hours in that pool. So you by that logic, you started getting involved. Of course, I had a selfish interest. But suddenly then I realized that 1 second, what is the role of public office? The role of public office is not to just do incremental good things. It is to put frameworks in place that for years coming later, people will benefit. The stupidest example, 2 lanes are given for swimming coaching. 2 lanes given for swimming coaching, a lot of swimmers reach a certain level and can't break through. They get disheartened and they fall off. The coach came to me with this problem and we were discussing. He said, sir, polo start karo, water polo. I said, that is a good idea, because these swimmers can now play. They are powerful swimmers, but they're not up there at national. They can do different things. We said, ठीक है, we should do. लेकिन problem number 2, 2 lane में तो you can't play water polo. So what to do? Let's give 3 lanes. Now, how to give 3 lanes? So we had to create a policy, get it passed, put 3 lanes, but we knew there's going to be objection. So what I did is, with the young kids, I entered the pool as the goalie, because I can't like float for 5 hours. I mean, 45 minutes also. So I was sitting on one side and being the goalie, okay? Just basically playing. Only reason is because when somebody said, I'll complain to the secretary, the person has to say, the secretary is playing. We started polo. Very interestingly, in 3 years, in the Maharashtra team, 4 of the girls were from Matonga Gymkhana because we started that polo. What did we do? We created a framework in which kids can flourish. You will get a lot of brickbats. We got a lot of brickbats when the coach resigned. We were hauled over coals. We were told, me and my friend Cyrus were like, you guys are not good enough. What are you doing? And we were doing a lot of good things. We increased the coach fees. We ensured that it is remunerative. We ensured that the coach gets his timings and everything. We try and bring in great techniques. We got an Olympian to help explain. We did a lot of good things. But you will always get your brickbats. But one of the big things we realized, and I bloody realized, is that the role in public office is to create public good. When you create public good, you have to allow public to use it to be the best in its world. You can never imagine, I would have never imagined 4 swimmers would represent Maharashtra in water polo and some would hit nationals because we gave a 3rd lane. But because we created an environment, positive things came out of it 3 years, 4 years hence. Humans left to themselves will create magic. You have to create an infra and public good. I think the role of leadership today is 70 to 80%. I still believe there is 20% of some vision setting, some herding people together, etc. But to create processes, frameworks that are public goods. So, what Wi-Fi is a public good. Creating the ability to configure your laptop. There are irritating things that stop people. Allowing people to have coffee when they want, as opposed to a lunch hour. You created some public policies in place that allow people to work in a casual environment and a happy environment, or give them the infra. Like one of the biggest nonsensical things in traditional companies is when you ask for servers or server capacity, they will ask you, "Kyun chahiye?" अरे पहले दे ना यार, सर्वर कैपेसिटी, कंप्यूट कैपेसिटी पहले दे, एंड उसको एनवायरनमेंट में डाल, ही प्ले अराउंड यार, लेट इट प्ले. यू अलाउ पब्लिक गुड्स, एंड व्हेन यू क्रिएट दैट फ्रेमवर्क, your job is to sit behind and allow people to benefit and use it. They will use it in things that you cannot imagine. You just cannot imagine. And that, when you realize that as a leader, at a little, as CEOs, as CXOs, etc., when founders become, I don't know, third stage, fourth stage of their this thing, and they become CA, how many good people they hire for sure,
Yeah.
but what is the public goods that you have created
Yeah.
that allow other people? Like, have you built enough roads for innovation to happen? Have you built enough rails? But then what gets transported, how it gets used?
So
What are
true.
the second order, third order benefits? Don't think so much.
So true. I
Create
think
this.
this is very interesting, Jaimit, because I mean, I am translating into that role, and my founder kind of gave me some budgets, like burn it, figure it out, and let's look at some experiments around some growth levers. It was so hard for me to let go of my operator.
You want to give the idea on how to use the money.
Yeah, and so I ended up not spending it, to be honest. And for a month, I didn't spend it, and I was like, no, like this is not how I want to do this. And that's what I mean. It took me a while to figure it out that, oh, you know what, I have the resources. Let's actually just open it up. Yes, exactly. Like just give that server space essentially. Like let that happen, and then see what comes off it. But by not just doing it, I think I was like, that was like a month of me evolving from that operator to a leader's, role that.
How many times do you first say yes, Adhar, when you get an idea?
Yeah.
When somebody comes with you, ये चाहिए. First just say yes. पहले हाँ बोल दे.
Yes, and.
हाँ, yes, हाँ. Like, right now the market's so beautiful. SaaS has become so beautiful. You don't need to invest on the whole thing. Somebody comes and says, मेरे को AI का ये कर रहे हैं, मेरे को इतना subscription चाहिए. अरे हाँ बाप, पहले ले. कर तू. You create that ability for people to do. We put so many processes, we put so many gates. There is no line, but we put a gate. There is no use, we put misuse का gate.
Yes.
अरे बाप, misuse बाद में, अरे misuse कर, very good. तो इसका मतलब use तो हुआ.
Yeah.
यूज होगा तो misuse होगा ना. तो यूज ही नहीं हो रहा है. हम लोग misuse के चक्कर में यूज बंद कर दिए. Lot of our policies are restrictive. Do not have restrictive policies. How many of your policies are enablers? How many lighthouses have you created? How many roads have you created? How many railways have you created? जिसके ऊपर innovation चलते जाएगा. अरे information technology, if you remember the Sam Pitroda era, उसने जाके telecommunications खोल दिया. People went mad. My era went mad on STD, IST, I could talk to my girlfriend. Hence, I am married to her. If that was not there, I don't know where my relationship would have gone. Now, that Sam Pitroda didn't think, Rajiv Gandhi didn't think, Jaimit is going to get married. But this is how people will use it.
Yeah.
Telecommunications, how people will use it. Allow. हम लोग पहले मना करते हैं और रिस्ट्रिक्टिव पॉलिसीज लेते हैं. आई थिंक मोर एंड मोर यू गो अप, नो अलाउ, चलेगा. आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स गेट दैट. एंड आई थिंक व्हेन दे गो लिटिल ओल्डर, दे स्टार्ट लर्निंग द बैड थिंग्स फ्रॉम लेगेसी कंपनीज.
So, the guy who manages swimming pools.
I can tell you what is the chlorine content, what to put, how to put, sunlight, sunset. I know how filtration works. Yeah, one more feather.
One more feather, one more hat. The guy who figured out marketing, advertising, sales, so many hats you wear. And I think the most beautiful that you've worn in this session has been of a professor, right? And for that, I think we're very grateful, Jaimit, to have you around to see this and to see you evolve and the kind of insights and the truth bombs that you drop. It's been really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Adhar. It's been a pleasure. Though I always would wonder why would you call an older man to a to a learning podcast. If there is anything I can only tell you, don't listen. Make your own mistakes.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. And as long as you're making enough mistakes but not making the same stupid mistake twice,
Yes. We are good.
should be good. Be nice. Don't take it so complicated. इतना करियर वरियर सोचने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. As long as you are learning, you are adding value to yourself, you will figure out a way to add value to the company. Learn, do new things. You should be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.